Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So the next flagship from Samsung when it comes to the Note lineup. So the Note 7 was actually a pretty good phone overall. It was also a pretty hot one, and unfortunately in some cases it even, But Samsung's actually bringing back the Note lineup later on this month with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which is actually going to come with a ton of changes, and not just a ton of changes, but also a ton of new features. So yeah, it's not just going to be a big improvement from the Note 7, but also a pretty big improvement from the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus as well. And I actually got my hands on one of the first Samsung Galaxy Note 8 clones out there. Yes, this phone hasn't even been announced, and the clones are already here. So yeah, welcome to the Zone of Tech. I'm Daniel, and this is my unboxing and my review of this thing. One of the first Samsung Galaxy Note 8 clones. So yeah, as always, grab some popcorn and yeah, enjoy. Okay, so let's take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 box. So on the front, we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 branding, and also this is a 64GB model. Now, the way the text actually looks on the front immediately tells you that this is a fake. Now, that's because Samsung has recently switched to this design style on the Samsung Galaxy S8 boxes, and the one on the clone actually resembles the S7 boxes from 2016. So yeah, this design is a 2016 box design from Samsung, not a 2017 one. Now on the back we get a listing of all the specs. So Samsung Galaxy Note 8, dual pixel, 12 megapixel, 5 megapixel camera. So yeah, a dual camera module just like we've seen in those Samsung Galaxy Note 8 leaked photos. Then we also have a 64-bit octa-core processor and 64 gigabytes of RAM. Guys, you heard it here first. This phone is the world's first phone to come with 64 gigs of RAM. This is like a 2030 phone. That's cool. And it also comes with 64 gigabytes of storage as well, by the way, as you can see on the box. So, pretty cool phone. Now, sliding the top cover over and we get to the actual box, which closes with this magnetic flap, which was also removed from the Samsung Galaxy S8 boxes. So this was something that we had on the S7 and the S7 Edge boxes in 2016. Opening that, and we get to the actual Samsung Galaxy Note 8 clone. So let me just put this to the side for just 1 second and see what else we get inside the box. So the first thing that we get is this booklet, and inside that we get a manual, a mobile manual, which I don't know, this thing looks really weird. Definitely not something that you would find in an actual Samsung box, but it's still quite funny. That's it, you don't get anything else inside this booklet, not even the SIM eject tool, for which you actually have this empty space here. So yeah, the SIM eject tool is missing, and that's about it. Then we also get a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging this, and by the way, you can't really charge this with any regular USB-C cable. You actually have to use the one that's included in the box. So this is not really a true USB-C port. It only has the shape of a USB-C port since it only works with that proprietary cable. And we also get a US power adapter, which is weird because, well, I live in the UK. But yeah, US power adapter. And finally, we also get some headphones, which might actually be genuine Samsung headphones. Sorry, possibly genuine Samsung headphones that were apparently chewed by a dog. I mean, just take a look at how these things look. But yeah, other than that, they actually look quite genuine for, fake headphones. So they actually might be real. And that's about it. There's nothing else inside the box. Okay, so how about the actual Note 8? How does this thing feel in the hand? Well, dimension-wise, this is about the same size as the Note 7 from last year. So it's not actually a 1:1 copy of what the actual Samsung Galaxy Note 8 will be like. So the Note 8 would be a tiny bit taller than the S8 Plus, and also a tiny bit wider since it will actually come with a 6.3 inch display rather than the 6.2 that we had on the S8 Plus. Now, even though this one has a Note 7 size, you can still tell that it's actually based on the Note 8 design. So judging from those really thin bezels around the display, which, yes, the display is only 5.5 inches in size, and then you get two black sections, which were obviously cheaper to manufacture than an actual 5.7 inch display or a larger display. And only then you get those really thin bezels which resemble the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Then on the front, we get a front-facing camera. We also get an iris sensor, so this is presumably an iris sensor, not sure if it actually works. But then we also have a headphone jack on the bottom, a USB-C port, and the S Pen, because this is a Note, so hopefully the S Pen actually works. Then on the back we have a fingerprint reader, we have a camera which only seems to be a single lens camera instead of that dual lens one that we've seen in the Note 8 leaks, and even on this Note 8 box it actually said that it came with two back-facing cameras, which is a bit weird. Other than that, the flash and the heart rate sensor along with the oxygen level meter, presumably. Don't think this actually works. Okay, now I want to mention a few interesting things about this clone. So first off, the performance on this thing is actually pretty good. It's even more than pretty good. It's amazing. So this thing is crazy fast. I haven't noticed any lag or any slowdown whatsoever, and that's actually funny because this thing feels way more fluid than even my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Yeah, my genuine S8 Plus feels more fluid than this Note 8 clone. Now obviously that's because there's no Samsung bloatware installed on this thing. In fact, there's not as many apps installed, so pretty much everything has been removed. Even the Google Play Store. You don't even get a Google Play Store on this thing, which pretty much means that there's no actual way to download apps on this, unless you obviously download the actual Play Store APK, or if you install a custom ROM on this thing. But if you're like the average person who gets this phone, you're pretty much stuck with all the apps that the manufacturer provides, which is, well, not a lot. So yeah, all the Google apps have been removed, so YouTube, Google Maps, everything. Now, speaking of removing things, the S Pen is almost impossible to remove, so it's kind of stuck here. It was so difficult to remove that I initially thought that it was just there as an ornament and not an actual removable, component. But once I got a SIM eject tool, I did manage to take it out. So yeah, this thing is really difficult to take out without an actual SIM eject tool or a proper tool. And surprisingly, this thing works the same as on the Note 7. So you remove it and then you automatically get the S Pen options, such as Smart Select, you get Screen Write, and many more. Now, another interesting thing is the iris scanner. So the iris scanner actually works on this clone. Well, kinda. So it doesn't lock the phone, but basically the front-facing camera is the one analyzing your eyes. So yeah, this means that you can be easily tricked with a photo. I mean, the third thing that really blew me away was the fingerprint reader. So the one on the back is actually a fake. But when you set it up, so when you set up the fingerprint reader, it actually tells you to put your finger onto the display, as if you actually had a fingerprint reader embedded into the display assembly. You even get the setup animation, and then take a look at this. The fingerprint reader integrated into the display works on this clone. Wait, what? Does it actually work? Daniel, are you telling us that this cheap Note 8 clone actually uses something that Samsung or Apple itself weren't capable of achieving? Well, not really. So this thing is actually kind of fake. So most of the times it works, even if you use a different finger, which obviously shouldn't happen. So it's either a fingerprint reader that's embedded into the display assembly that has horrible accuracy, or the second reason why this thing works is that the black bar on the bottom is actually a capacitive bar. So when you hold your finger, it simply scans like the size of your finger and the shape of your finger, and that's the reason why it works. And that would also be a reason why it works with more than just one finger. I would actually say that this is most likely the case. Now, another interesting thing that I've noticed here is the SD card. Yes, you actually get an SD card with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 included, not in the box, but in the actual phone. So if you open up the SIM slot, you get this 64GB micro SD card from Kingston. Apparently, might be fake, it's probably fake, but hey, if it's not, then it's pretty cool. And combined with that 64GB of storage, you would actually get a whopping 128GB on this device. Even though I don't really believe any of the storages to be actually 64GB, I think that those numbers were actually altered in the settings. It's pretty easy to change that. But still, hopefully, maybe 128GB on this thing, probably not. I'll have to do some tests, most likely you get like 4 gigabytes on both the card on the actual phone. Okay, so in the end, what do I think about this Samsung Galaxy Note 8 clone? Well, even though the only resemblance between this and the actual Note 8 would be those thin bezels on the top, I'm not talking about those capacitive black bars, it's still a pretty good clone. I mean, you get an S Pen, you get an iris scanner, you also get a fingerprint reader that's kinda embedded into the display assembly. So, you get all of those cool features, and they actually work. Even though, the fingerprint reader is obviously not secure, it still works, which is, I think, pretty cool. So at least you get a lot of features in this thing, which is pretty good for a clone. Now, you obviously won't be fooling any true Samsung fans with this Note 8 clone, so they will be able to instantly tell, actually most people, that this is a fake phone. But still, it's a pretty decent one, and especially for any clone lovers out there, it's a pretty good device. So yeah, there you go, my unboxing and my first impressions of this Note 8 clone. Now, if you want to see more Note 8 coverage, then feel free to subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to enable notifications by simply tapping on that bell icon so that you're notified as soon as I upload a brand new epic video. Also, let me know in the comments if you would actually buy a clone phone. The Note 8 clone, or the Samsung Galaxy S8 clone, or even the iPhone 8 clone. Speaking of the iPhone 8 clone, I've actually done a separate video just on that. So iPhone 8 clone unboxing and review, in case you haven't seen that video, and I've also done one on an iPhone 8 prototype. So in case you haven't seen any of those videos, they're pretty cool, so definitely give them a check. A view, not a check. You know what I mean. Other than that, feel free to give this video a like if you have enjoyed it, to let me know. And also let me know in the comments if you're epic enough to make it until the end by saying I was epic enough to make it until the end, hashtag whatever you want that hashtag to be. But yeah, this was pretty much it, so thank you for watching this video. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. XenofTech, signing out. Cheers.